I swear to God, I'm not one of those paranoid neighborhood watch types. I don't even like getting involved with my neighbors. I just wanted to hand out candy, eat frozen pizza, and maybe watch Hocus Pocus for the 20th time. But this Halloween, something's seriously wrong on our street. I live in a quiet suburb outside of Dayton, Ohio. The kind of place where people mow their lawns in patterns and get passive-aggressive about HOA rules. Every October, the Hendersons across the street go all out for Halloween. Like synchronized lights, fog machines, fake coffins, the works. Except this year, they took it too far. About a week ago, I noticed their front yard was covered with what looked like realistic corpses. Not the goofy inflatable kind, I mean really detailed. Torn clothes, twisted limbs, pale skin that actually looked soft, maybe? Like latex, maybe? They even had a fake police outline sprayed around one of them. I remember thinking, wow, these psychos must have spent thousands on this. Then the smell started. At first I thought maybe something had died under their porch. Ohio raccoons get into everything. But the stench was different. Sweet and rotten at the same time. Like old meat or that smell when your fridge dies in the summer. Everyone on the street joked about it at first. Guess the Hendersons went too realistic this year. But no one actually asked them about it. Mostly because no one's seen them since they put up the display. No Mr. Henderson in his usual Carhartt jacket, no kids riding their bikes, no garage door opening. Just their house, dark at night, with those decorations lying perfectly still. Last night, I finally walked over, just to prove to myself it was nothing. The fog machine was still on, running non-stop, hissing through the plastic gravestones. And that's when I noticed something that froze me. One of the bodies had flies crawling all over its mouth. And the smell was fresh. I backed away from the Hendersons' yard so fast, I nearly tripped over one of those fake tombstones. The ones that say, R.I.P. Chuck, in cheesy, dripping letters. My hands were shaking, but I told myself it was fine. It had to be fine. Probably some messed up prank. I went home, locked the door, tried to convince myself that I didn't just see real flies on real skin. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time the wind rattled the siding, I imagined it was someone knocking. Around 1 a.m., I gave up and went to the kitchen to grab a drink. That's when I saw movement through the blinds, that soft, foggy light from across the street flickering again. The fog machine was still running. But this time, one of the bodies was gone. At first, I thought maybe the fog made me miscount, but I swear there were 5 yesterday. Now there were 4. The one closest to the mailbox, the one with the flies, was missing. I stood there, staring, trying to make sense of it, when something else hit me. Their front door was wide open. Just a dark rectangle. No sound, no light. I called 911. Felt stupid doing it, but I couldn't not. Told the dispatcher something smelled dead and the neighbors hadn't been seen in a week. She said she'd send a unit to check it out. The cops showed up 20 minutes later, 2 of them, flashlights sweeping the yard. I watched from my window as they knocked, called out, went inside. One of them gagged near the porch. Then one came out, talking fast into his radio, and they both went around the back. I don't know what they saw inside, but I swear to you, One of the officers ran back to his cruiser and drove off with the lights still off. The other stayed for a bit, standing completely still by the mailbox. When he finally left, the fog machine turned off. The next morning, the entire display, bodies, props, everything, was gone. The yard was spotless, except for a single thing. A small cardboard sign stuck into the lawn. It said, "Happy Halloween, Ashley." My name isn't on my mailbox. I didn't go to work the next day. I called in sick, though sick doesn't really cover feeling like someone peeled your brain open and poured static into it. The sign with my name on it was gone when I looked out later that morning. Just grass, neat and trimmed. No cops around, no tape, no reporters. Like it never happened. I walked over anyway. The yard smelled faintly like bleach. There was a patch of dirt near where the mailbox had been, darker and wetter than the rest. I told myself I wasn't going to touch it, but you know how curiosity feels like gravity sometimes? I knelt down and brushed it with my hand. The dirt was warm. That's when I noticed the Hendersons' front door again, still closed, but something was wedged under it, a folded piece of paper, flapping a little in the wind. I looked around. Nobody was outside. It was a Sunday morning, church time for half the block, and I went up to grab it. It was a flyer, a Halloween flyer for a neighborhood decorating contest, the same one they'd won last year, except this one wasn't printed by the HOA. It was handwritten. The rules were simple. Create something realistic. Keep it quiet. Don't let them know they're part of it. I swear the paper felt damp, and the handwriting, black marker, shaky, uneven. It wasn't the Hendersons. I backed away, heart hammering. My phone buzzed, an unknown number, no name, just a text. You looked. Your turn next year. I blocked it immediately, turned off my phone. That night, when I finally managed to sleep, I dreamed I was standing on my own front lawn, staring at my house from across the street. The fog was thick again. There were 5 bodies lying in my yard. The one closest to the mailbox had my Target hoodie on. When I woke up this morning, I swear there was a faint smell of bleach outside my window, and the fog machine was humming again.
I don't even know where to post this. It's not really scary, or maybe it is, depending on how you look at it. I need to tell someone. So, I live in a small neighborhood outside Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm 32, no kids, just me and my dog Benny. I usually don't do much for Halloween. Hand out candy, watch The Nightmare Before Christmas, maybe a beer or two. This year, though, I decided to actually get into it. Bought decorations from Target, strung up some orange lights, even carved a decent-looking jack-o'-lantern. Around 6 p.m., the first wave of kids started coming. Cute costumes, polite thank yous, parents waiting at the curb, normal small-town stuff. Then, around 8:30, this one kid showed up, alone. He was dressed in a cheap Walmart skeleton costume, the kind that comes with that thin, printed fabric and plastic mask. I remember saying, "Hey, nice skeleton, man," and dropping a Snickers in his bucket. He didn't move, just stood there. And then he tilted his head, real slow, and said, "You used to live on Maple Drive." I froze. I did used to live on Maple Drive. 15 years ago. In a crappy rental house my mom and I could barely afford. I hadn't thought about that place in years. I laughed nervously and said, "Wow, that's weirdly specific, kid. You psychic or something?" He didn't answer. He just took off his mask. And I swear to God, I felt my stomach drop. It was me. Like, not looks like me when I was his age. No, it was exactly me. The same nose, same birthmark under the left eye, the same stupid haircut I had in middle school. He smiled, my smile, and said, "You left the window open that night." Then he turned and walked away. I stood there like an idiot, holding the candy bowl, trying to convince myself it was just some insane coincidence. Until I realized something. He hadn't told me which night. But I knew exactly which one he meant.
I shut the door and locked it, but it didn't feel like enough. My hands were shaking so bad, I dropped half the candy on the floor. Benny started whining, ears back. He does that when I'm nervous, like he can sense it. I sat on the couch, trying to breathe. I kept replaying it in my head, the way the kids' eyes looked. Not like contacts, not makeup, just mine. The way I remember them looking in the mirror when I was 12 and hadn't slept. The window opened that night. I hadn't thought about that night in over 20 years, but once he said it, it came back. I was 12, living on Maple Drive with my mom. She was working the late shift at the diner. I woke up around 2 a.m. and heard scratching at my window. That thin old glass that rattled when the wind hit it. I thought it was a branch, but when I looked, there was someone outside. Someone who looked like me. He smiled and whispered, "Don't be scared, it's just a dream." Then everything went dark. Mom found me the next morning sleeping on the floor under the window. I'd had nightmares for weeks after that. Told myself it was just sleep paralysis. That's what the therapist said too. But standing there tonight, looking at that kid, I knew it wasn't a dream. I checked the street right after. Nothing. No parents, no other kids, just leaves blowing and porch lights turning off one by one. I even walked down the block. No one saw a skeleton costume like that. One guy said he'd stopped handing out candy an hour earlier. He told me didn't see any kids after 8. When I came back home, there was a piece of paper on my porch. No handwriting, just a printed photo. Old, grainy, like it came from a disposable camera. It was a picture of my house on Maple Drive. The window was open, and in the reflection of the glass, there was a kid staring out. He looked like me, but he wasn't smiling anymore.
So, I have been dating Jake for about a year. He's charming, funny, all that stuff that makes your mom say, "He's a keeper." Except lately, he's been off. Short-tempered, always on his phone, distant in that way where you start to feel like you're the annoying one just for existing. Anyway, Halloween is my thing. I go all out every year. I make homemade costumes, carve pumpkins, bake those Pillsbury ghost cookies, everything. This year, I even got tickets for the Halloween party downtown. One of those big ones at the brewery with live music, photo booths, and way too many people dressed as slutty versions of random professions. Jake said he didn't feel like going, claimed he was tired from work and wanted a chill night at home. Fine, whatever.
I went with my friend Leela instead. Except halfway through the night, I saw him. He was there, at the same party, and he wasn't alone. I'll never forget the moment. I was by the bar trying to order a drink, and suddenly, there he was, in his stupid flannel and baseball cap, laughing with some girl dressed like a vampire. He had his hand on her back, the same way he does with me when we're out. I froze. My stomach just dropped. He didn't see me at first, so I took a picture. I don't even know why. Instinct, I guess. Proof. Then, I went up to him. I didn't yell. I just said, "Wow, guess you weren't too tired after all." The look on his face, that half-second of shock before he smiled like I was the one being dramatic, made me want to scream. He said, "Babe, it's not what it looks like." But the girl's face said otherwise. She looked guilty, or scared, maybe. I left, blocked his number, got an Uber home. That's when I noticed something weird. When I got out of the car, there was a pumpkin on my porch. I didn't carve one this year, too busy. But this one was carved perfectly, and it had my name scratched into the bottom. I stood there in my driveway for a good 30 seconds, just staring at that damn pumpkin. My name wasn't written with a marker. It was scratched in, messy and uneven, like someone used a key or a knife. At first I thought maybe Leela did it, some weird inside joke. But when I texted her, she swore she hadn't even been near my place. Jake was the only one with a spare key to my house. I didn't want to believe he'd do something creepy, but that pumpkin freaked me out. So I grabbed a trash bag, threw it in, and left it outside by the bin. Then I locked all my doors and tried to sleep. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just one message. Pumpkin. Check your porch again. I sat there, heart pounding, trying to decide if it was him or some drunk Halloween prank. Finally, I looked out the window. The pumpkin was back. Same one, same carving, but now there was a piece of paper sticking out of its mouth. I didn't want to touch it, but I had to know what it said. I opened the door slowly, grabbed the note with 2 fingers, and shut the door again fast. The handwriting was sloppy. Jake's, definitely. The note said, "You made me the bad guy. Don't forget who you are without me." I blocked another number, turned off my phone, and sat on the floor shaking. I thought about calling the cops, but what was I supposed to say? My ex keeps teleporting pumpkins onto my porch? I stayed up all night. Around dawn, I finally went outside to throw it away again. The pumpkin was gone. But there were footprints on the dew-covered grass, one set leading to the porch and another leading away. Both sets ended at the same spot, right under my bedroom window.